Thank you for submitting questions. My first question received has to do with a parent who has narcissistic personality disorder and what it's like to co parent with that individual. It's very difficult. There's no question about it. Parenting isn't easy in any circumstance. We all have different challenges and balancing of work and home life. If we add into it that we've gone through divorce, that's a whole nother layer of challenge. We may have lost some of our support system through that divorce. It could be that we are parenting with someone who's not very helpful, but one of the most difficult has to be co-parenting with someone who has narcissistic personality disorder. It is not that everybody we don't get along with has that disorder. They're likely not to have been diagnosed. It's challenging in every regard. It's not just that they won't help you, but they may sabotage your role as a parent and sabotage the efforts you make with the children. So what are some of those qualities? A very grandiose sense of importance, a sense of entitlement. When someone has a sense of entitlement, they are not likely to follow rules. They're less likely to follow the parenting plan. They are also working on getting you to do things their way, and they don't accept any other way. So it's my way or the highway. That can be very challenging. Lack of empathy, arrogance, undermining, and dismissiveness. They demand attention. Part of demanding attention is they seek your validation. Narcissism is inherently a disorder, and at its core, the person has very low self-esteem. They have no sense of being unconditionally loved. They just didn't learn that. They don't have the ability to empathize with another person's feelings. They need attention and they need validation. All of that makes it really challenging. We have to look at it from two different perspectives. One is, how is that challenging parent? How is that co-parent making life and growing up difficult for my child? Each child is going to be different. There's a lot that you can do as the other parent to help your child and minimize the discomfort and controlling behavior of the other party. It won't be easy, and it's not going to go away completely. If it can help to realize, and I don't mean to excuse their behavior in any way or say that you should have any understanding for them, but if it could help to realize that this person is coming from a place of self-loathing, you could feel pity on somebody like that. If the parent is demanding of the children and is very interested in how the children appear and how the children reflect on them as a person, then we want to be very careful about making sure our kids don't get the idea that there's something wrong with them and that they don't have unconditional love. We give them lots of unconditional love and really help them to understand. When we get into module 4 about emotional intelligence, this will be key, being able to help children to understand their own value as a human being and not to feel that the love they receive from either parent is conditional. The teenage child, it is in an emotionally vulnerable period. They may feel that if they show vulnerability, it'll be seen as a sign of weakness. The narcissist will tend to act like sharing vulnerability is a sign of weakness. We want to be talking about accepting emotions and really being able to identify and know what our feelings are and what our needs are. And that emotional vulnerability is part of being human. With regard to us as a parent, that is dealing with this person. You have to have really firm boundaries in place. You want a parenting plan that is very specific. If the plan is very specific about issues, then we have a greater ability to hold that other parent accountable. They, as noted, may not follow the parenting plan, or they may feel entitled to a lot of favors. Whenever it's a weekend, then they want to go skiing. They hit you up. Can you take the kids? Presuming that you don't have a life or presuming that you don't deserve notice. They'll tell you at the last minute, right? So a boundary. I'm happy to trade weekends, but I need a certain amount of notice. You have to enforce it. You never want to be in a position of reaction versus response. So let's say that the narcissistic parent accuses you, you're always late because you want me to be late for work. You're always late and you can never be on time. That's why the kids are never going to be able to. How would we respond to that? First, we don't care what their opinion is of us. That's important. We're not going to be able to do anything about it. The fact is, perhaps the time was 9 o'clock. The parent got there at 9:05, and this other parent is freaking out. Speak to the fact. First, I'm not having this conversation in front of the children. Making an emotional appeal does not help. Any kind of emotional appeal doesn't work. If the person is entitled to an explanation, and maybe they're not, but only if they are, you give them one. There was traffic at the intersection. That's it. You just respond with a fact. So it's a brief response, informative, only talking about facts, never discussing emotions or opinions, never getting caught up in why are they so mean? It's because of who they are. So we're not going to get into that. It's really separating yourself from it, refusing to make any kind of emotional appeal, staying calm and cool, not taking anything personally, setting limits, and maintaining those boundaries. I work with a lot of parents who have this situation, and some of them need ongoing support. Not everybody does. There are different levels of narcissism. I provide them ongoing support. It won't be forever, but during the transition, when a divorce is, specifically if you're still in court and all those things are going on, there's usually a real need for support. But even afterward, for a while, you just start to learn. You have new patterns of communication, and it becomes intuitive to you not to take what this person is saying personally, and to continually reinforce the unconditional love for the child and all of the ways that we're going to teach them emotional intelligence so they realize they can share their feelings and that they're loved. So I hope that answers the questions about a narcissistic parent. There's another question about being in litigation and being overseen by an evaluator. A lot of this is going to be about perspective and mindset. It probably isn't going to do us any good to belittle the other party or highlight all their negatives, bad mouthing or demonizing the other party. We want to go in there with the idea in our mind, you know what, this is a chance for me to actually show somebody who knows something about this stuff what a good parent I am. But this is actually an opportunity for me. And it's an opportunity to advocate on behalf of my children to have the kind of childhood experience that I want them to have without demonizing the other party, without being overly critical of the other party, without being very emotional about the other party. It's about, this is who I am. This is the kind of parenting I provide. Just facts. Everything that's important, I would have written down in a bullet point list that can go in the file. And when they go to review it at the time that they're drafting their report, they will actually access that list. Your availability is relevant. Your love for your children, and just the fact that you're parenting, the fact that you have support from other people, all of those are relevant. Your kids, the fact that they're doing well and they're healthy and thriving, that's evidence of you being a good parent. This person leaves you with the children, proof that the other parent doesn't really think that's true. They will absolutely look at and hopefully annotate in their report these positive things: your availability, your attention to them, your family or any resources you have, all of the things that go into why you're a good parent. My last series of questions has to do with when a party has a new romantic interest. So my first question would be, is this in the parenting plan? And if it's not in the parenting plan, I would still do everything I'm about to say, but I would begin with a reference to the parenting plan. That is the kind of thing that is often in a parenting plan. A typical parenting plan will say that the other parent needs to be notified of this relationship before the children are. In some instances, the parent is noted to be entitled to meet that other person. Number 3, it is very rare for it to be okay to move in to the other parent's home without acknowledging the rights of the other parent because it could be a danger. We don't know who this person is, and the dynamic is just really unhealthy. So let's say the parent has their girlfriend move in without letting you know, and you don't find out about it for a while. There's a few different issues going on. One, did the person violate the parenting plan? Two, why didn't they let you know? Because that is relevant to your own parenting. You need to be able to talk to your children about significant changes in their life. Some of those significant changes happen as a result of the other parent being denied the opportunity to talk to your boys or your girls about the new relationship of their other parent is wrong. It's a big thing because it is an issue for children, no matter how certain parents are about staying separated. Even if they've been divorced for a long time, their children subconsciously retain the hope that they'll get back together. You need to be able to discuss that with the child and what it means to them and what it means in terms of their life with you. The second thing is that this person is unknown to everybody and moved in the house. There's a question of safety, right? It is a reality. Not everybody is a healthy person. One, did he violate the parenting plan? What was your reasoning for not discussing with me that you were having a serious relationship with another person? This was important for me to know because it's a big change in my children's life. I need to be able to process that with them. They are not going to be able to talk to that co-parent. You are the only person that they can really come to and openly discuss it. So now you have to determine the roles of this person. What activities are they ever going to be alone with the child? This is something that both parties have to agree to. What role this person is going to take? Are they going to discipline the child? In most instances, the parenting plan will say that the parents themselves are the only people that discipline the children, that this person does not discipline the children. Is the person allowed to cook for them and take them places and go to their activities? All of those things. We want to know what is the child's relationship with the person. And that's something that's ongoing. My concern is, did the ex tell the boys not to tell you, the mom, about the girlfriend? It is very substantive. One parent should never tell the children not to tell the other parent anything. Anything. They should not be encouraged to keep any kind of secret. And that brings in a lot of loyalty questions. So not only would I want to know how my children feel about this person, but I want to know how they felt about holding that information in for whatever period of time. We need to come to an understanding with the other parent that you may never tell the children not to tell me something. How do we hold that accountability? We need to giving them a place to be able to share openly about things they're afraid to talk to you about. So maybe the ex didn't say don't tell, but maybe they were worried they didn't want to break your heart. And that's the other reason why this other parent should have told you. Other parents should never have left it to your children to give you that kind of information, because that it puts them in a bind and it could make them feel like they're hurting you. We need to let them know that mom's okay. I can take care of myself. You might tell me something that is upsetting to me. I might even cry, but you know what? I'm going to be okay because I'm your mom and I need to know this stuff and it's me taking care of you. So we need to talk about things like this when they come up. Talk to me about this. Were you afraid to share it with me? Did dad say not to? This is a big thing. Was it a big thing for you? You want to hold it lightly so they don't feel like they're in a bind. I would say that I must meet this person and we need to have rules about this person's interrelationship with our children, even though they've already done it for a while. You need to know that they're safe and to have met this person. Where do they work? What hours are they around? Anything that has to do with the way this person impacts and affects your children's lives when they're there is your business. The ex might act like you're just acting like this because you're jealous, or you're just mad that I have this new friend in my life. They will deflect. And so you want to make very clear, I'm happy. I'm happy that you found someone. I'm glad you found someone you get along with. I hope you guys have a great life. I'm just interested in the way this relates to our kids. I want to know how we're going to handle this with our kids and the emotional impact on them. Recap. 1, what does the parenting plan say? What are the rules? Why didn't the person tell you what was their thinking on it? 3, I need to know who this person is. It should be a separate meeting. And it can be just you and the girlfriend, or it can be the other co-parent and the girlfriend, but the kids shouldn't be there. And you should just feel free to ask any questions you have. And you want to be, again, brief, informative, just stay with the facts, and fair and friendly. Thanks for doing question and answer with me. And I look forward to seeing you next week.